A strategic limbo. With no peace deal on the table, Iran turns to its neighbors. So what happens if the war doesn't actually end? Here's what you need to know.
We're not going to spend 15 hours in airplanes all the time going back and forth to be giving a document that was not good enough. So we'll deal by telephone and they can call us anytime they want.
Donald Trump says he'll no longer send his negotiators for talks after Iran rejected an effort to meet in Islamabad. Instead, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has arrived in Russia to meet with Vladimir Putin following a visit to Oman. In a post on X, Araghchi said that Iran wants to ensure safe transit through the Strait of Hormuz to benefit all dear neighbors and the world. Iran wants shared control over the waterway with Oman, potentially adding a permanent toll for vessels passing through, something like the Suez Canal in Egypt. The US hasn't completely ruled this out, at least Trump hasn't, but Europe might be a harder sell. More than 30 countries met in London last week to outline a plan to keep the strait open after the war. That plan, led by the UK and France, would likely involve a multinational naval presence to safeguard cargo vessels from attack. But that would take away Iran's leverage, which it might not be ready to do. Top negotiator and parliamentary speaker Mohammad Baqir Ghalibaf says Iran can still continue to squeeze the world economy. In a post, he said Iran has only partly played its cards in the Strait of Hormuz, but it hasn't yet closed the Bab el-Mandeb Strait near Yemen or targeted the Saudi East-West pipeline. Iran believes it's already suffered the worst of US and Israeli aggression, and that having faced decades of sanctions, it can now weather long-term economic pain. And to do that, it will need to rely more heavily on Russia, a major food exporter, which could be why Araghchi is in Russia. But Iran is betting the US can't afford to do the same. The price of Brent crude has remained over $100 a barrel for nearly a week, and the long-term impacts of the closure are now being felt. Higher energy prices means higher inflation, higher interest rates, and lower wages. It means food is more expensive and for some, in short supply. Transport becomes difficult, air travel a luxury. The IMF says the world can still avoid a recession provided the strait is reopened soon. But Trump may be concerned about the political toll this will take on him at the November midterm elections. He was voted back into office on a promise to fix the economy, not break it. What both sides can't seem to budge on are the terms for a new nuclear deal. But for context, the 2015 deal that Obama signed with Iran and that Trump tore up in 2018, that took nearly 2 years to negotiate, and that was in peacetime. So the likelihood that a permanent agreement is ironed out, especially when both sides aren't talking to each other, is slim. And that leaves us with an alternative, that no permanent deal is made at this stage. Instead, it could be a long-term truce that reopens the Strait of Hormuz and ends the fighting. Basically, a stalemate. But can that happen when the US and Iran don't trust each other? That's it from me today. Stay with us on Al Jazeera for all your updates in the war on Iran.